how did that all go down? I mean, how were you co-parenting? Were you guys getting along? Were you fighting? Was it toxic? Was it like, how was it?
Well, I think, it went well. I mean, it could have been toxic. We just were very, very intentional on not allowing that to be in our family, because especially for myself, and I know for my ex as well, that we kind of had the mentality that we were divorcing each other, not our family. So our family and our children were always the priority.
That's really good. That's really good.
Yeah. Because we're going to be a family forever, whether we're together or we're not together.
And I'll tell you, as a mediator, that's refreshing to hear, because that is not the mentality that I generally deal with on a daily basis. I generally deal with, I am divorcing you. Our family is ripped apart. Our in-laws now we're going to have new friends. Like, they even put their friends in a position where the friends have to choose. Are they going to be friends with the husband or friends with the wife, even though they were friends with both? And so, that's really neat.
Well, some of that stuff is just the reality. That's the reality of, breaking that marriage. You do have, you're two separate people, you come together, you're married, and then you create a marriage. You create a life within that marriage. And so it's just a reality that, yes, you're going to have your friends are going to choose. It's just inevitable. But, the reality is whether you're the person who's choosing to leave, or somebody else is, your spouse has chosen to leave, everything is an intentional decision. And acceptance is the first key to anything. You may say, I'm going to be intentional, but your spouse isn't being intentional. Well, that's just something that was part of, I think, for me, was the success in it, is that you just choose to be responsible. I can only be responsible for myself, and I'm going to be intentional. And eventually, there's kind of a system in which, to keep from it being toxic, that eventually, when you keep your ground and you are being intentional, it overflows into other areas. The in-laws, the children, the spouse. That's how we found it anyways.
So who was intentional first, you or him?
Well, I think we were both intentional, but for different reasons. His intention was to save the marriage, and my intention was to be the best divorced parents that we can be. So our intentions were different, but we eventually came together